Hey, we're back.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
We are
All
here.
right. We're
here. And we have video, hopefully,
Yay.
that we'll be able to
Hopefully.
share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit
We
the
got a-
record button, right?
I think
It says
so.
it's recording.
Yeah,
It says recording. Okay.
I feel like there's, like I'm an airline pilot or something. I have to have a checklist of 50 things I need to go through to
Mhm.
make sure I don't screw something up. But technology is complicated, and we're figuring it out slowly but surely. And every week we've managed to make an episode of some kind. I wouldn't say they're great, but but they never were really.
That's
Hey,
your
now.
slogan.
Oh,
That's your
come on.
slogan. They're not great. They're not
not
bad.
great.
But
They're not bad
great.
either.
Listen to it if you want to.
Yeah. It works for McDonald's.
Yeah. No, it's comfort food.
We have a
Sorry, they're
top.
not a sponsor.
Lawsuit.
Welcome to episode 14. I'm going to try really hard to make this a great one. Maybe our first great episode. No,
We always strive for
they've all been good.
First great episode.
Wow.
Jeez.
good is the enemy of great.
Yeah, no, we're doing our best with this technology thing, and I think we're doing pretty well. We're hanging in there and able to get together and play a game that we all love, and that's the main thing. And we are on episode 14, I believe.
Yes.
Well, that's exciting. 14, and we're still rolling along. And I'm pretty excited for where this is going. You guys made some great progress moving the story along last time. And I'm really excited for, what's coming next. I don't want to give too much away, but before we move on, I would love to give a shout out to our friend Tura from Norway for being a great supporter of our podcast. And who ever thought that we would have somebody listening to us from Norway? Did any of you think that?
That's really
No.
cool.
No, but that's pretty awesome.
It is very awesome. I mean, and he's not the only one, but he is, I think, our only patron from Norway. And I just want to thank him. Special shout out to you, Tura, for your support. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And anyone else out there who wants to be a patron, I will throw it out there. I know the world is a little crazy still. I don't want to assume that you have the time, money, or inclination to donate to our podcast, but I know some people have, even during pandemics, even during some of the protests and things that are happening across the world right now. We are sort of in the epicenter of that here in good old Minnesota, USA. So it feels a little weird to be asking for money, but I know we have received some people. And so if you want to give to support this podcast, I'm not going to stop you. But I really want you to think about if there are other better things to give your money to, please do those things first. Think about us second. No, you don't have to think about a second even, but if you really want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/Dungeon Patrol or go to dungeonpatrol.com and click on the Patreon button. Again, think really hard before you send us any of your money. We appreciate all of our supporters and all of our listeners so much, and you really do make this all possible for us. Even a buck is like a huge mental boost for us as we're working on putting this show together every week.
It all has a direct impact
It
on
goes
Jerry's self-esteem.
and it goes towards right. It goes towards Broco's flea treatment. So just
And Alar's ego.
Heartworm.
Yeah.
Keep that ego going.
No, but really, I know every dollar that comes in goes right back into the podcast.
Yes.
Jerry puts it into fine-tuning the
Oh,
audio
he will-
quality and
he will find ways to stretch that penny and take that penny and stretch it out this way, and then like dough stretch it out the other way. He does a lot of great things. Just to think about where it was from the conception. Have you thought about that, Jerry? Just like
I had
where
no
it is
idea.
now.
Yeah, no, I mean to have somebody. I mean, I love Norway. I have friends from college who are from Norway, and you know, it's a beautiful place. And to think that someone over there would be listening to us never crossed my mind. I actually thought, you know, I've said it before, but I thought if we had 10 regular listeners, I'd be pretty happy with that, because we were going to play this game anyway, and
Yeah.
we were going to record it, and we were just going to put it out there. And to be in a position now where we have people who are able to support us, pay for some of the hosting, some of the bills and things like that we incur by putting this all together. I mean, it's remarkable, and I am just so incredibly touched to know that there are people out there who enjoy this, especially during such a crazy time. The world seems like it's getting stranger every day, and I hope that it's not directly tied to the storyline of this of this podcast.
Yeah,
But
I was saying Jerry needs to start writing some positive content because
We've
it's
got
just going to be all marshmallow-based creatures next
Awesome.
season. It's, you know, it's going to be awesome.
Did
But
you guys get Jerry's email about this being a music, turning this into a musical?
Oh man.
oh dear.
No.
yeah, I don't know if we'd get too many takers on that.
Uh,
But no, we want you all to stay safe out there, and you know, the world will get better. I believe in that, and I believe that we're going to play a game now.
Yeah, that sounds
thanks
fun.
to the wonderful people like Tura from Norway. Thank you, my friend, and anyone else who wants to support us, you can. But again, you know, think about what's important close by. Think about your family, think about your community, and then if you have a buck left over, I guess you can think about us. But you know, I don't know, get a candy bar or something.
I believe in Norwegian it's takk skal du ha, which is thank you.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Allo, of course. My grandfather spoke to us in Norwegian. He was second generation American, and so when we were in trouble, he would say certain things to us in Norwegian.
We're
And all us Minnesotans know ufta, so
yeah. I've heard that's not like an actual
right.
popular thing to say
no.
any place, but it's a Minnesota thing now.
It's
Yeah.
totally a Minnesota thing.
Take it
yeah.
in.
It should
Land
be
of-
everywhere. It's a good
It
one.
should.
It really
It's a,
is.
it's a
Yeah.
good
It
one.
is a good one.
very versatile.
Yeah, I love reading about Minnesota language differences and how they're influenced by immigrants. It's a super nerdy thing to read about,
Mhm.
obviously, but you know, it's just cool to see how you know, immigrants from Norway, Sweden, Poland, Ukraine, all this, you know, Finns came together and still influence the language here in little old Minnesota today. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Duck, duck, grey duck, forever.
No, I will fight you on that
It's a
one.
Swedish thing, so you guys, it's okay to be wrong in some things.
You just got to make it.
Just
your
admit
thing.
it.
Yeah,
I'm glad you can admit it, Thad. That's okay.
I'm not a
Well,
duck, gray duck person either.
Well, your
but,
children will be taught grey duck.
They will. I know.
So
My children are-
Who won?
Oh man. Well, we probably should go on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah.
To our,
What are we doing?
Let's
Uh,
a game here.
yeah.
Talk
there's
about
a
the
game.
history of
Yeah.
Minnesota. This is good.
Yeah, I'm rambling today. We're all a little bit. We talked about this before. A little bit loopy. So
Yeah.
again, forgive us as we move on to the game, and that means Alar. Time for a recap.
Oh, yes. Alar and the Velvet Underdark found Auden Wayne and his allies slain by the were-rats of the Darkrun Syndicate. They took the were-rats to task, mortally. Unfortunately, the possible diplomacy between districts lay poisoned like so many bodies. they once again met their erstwhile sinless friend, Pierce Pike, who is excited to be reminded of the foreman. Could our intrepid band find a way out of a city that currently could not appreciate the arts? Find out on Dungeon Patrol.
Nicely done. Nicely
Wow.
done. Did you
I'm
say
not
it?
finding my audience, Jerry. That's what that complaint is about.
Very
Haven't
good.
had one decent show,
That's
14
true.
episodes.
But you killed, right? You
Wasting
killed.
all of this promotions. I don't even know what the promotion guy is doing. Those flyers have not brought in anybody.
Nobody's interested in your show
Nobody.
yet.
It'll
But
happen.
it'll happen. Yeah.
It's a slow burn. It'll get there.
Slow burn. Okay.
Well, very good. So you guys are in the Night Rover Guild House, and you've obviously still surrounded by bodies. Some of them, have been poisoned, and some of them are the were-rat creatures that you fought, that you've stumbled upon as they were making sure that these, people that had been poisoned, Auden Wayne's crew, were actually dead. And Piers has relayed some information to you about an orcish woman who, might know this foreman person that you guys are looking for. And you're looking for the foreman because you were very early on told that the foreman might have information on how to get out of the city. So that's
We
where
did
you're
not
at.
get a name on the half orc woman, right?
No, he didn't recall the name. But as you guys are waiting there, Piers is distractedly has returned to perusing the books and scrolls that cover the floor. After a moment of quiet, his head turns suddenly and he snaps his fingers. "The tattoo!" he exclaims. The orcish woman had a black snake tattoo that ran from ankle to midriff. And you can see that he's blushing at the memory, and he kind of clears his throat and returns to searching through his books.
Okay.
So that's what you
Yeah.
have.
Does that tattoo ring any bells?
I would let you roll to see if you maybe recall anything like that.
What am I rolling?
I would say history.
You keep going to history, Jerry. How about like insight or?
Mm.
So I got an 18.
18? That's pretty good.
All the tattoos I've seen over the years, they all blend together.
You hang out at the seedy places, you see things.
Yeah. So with an 18, you know that you recall the person, or hearing about this person very kind of vaguely from maybe some job that you had in the past, maybe through some of your connections in the underworld before that. That maybe you heard about this person or ran across this person, or maybe you're in a place where this individual happened to be, but you do recall something about, some dancer with the tattoo, some performer.
The girl with the snake tattoo.
Exactly. So you do have some memory of that. Anything else that you guys are going to do here?
I mean, other than gear up, I've packed everything up that we can into big bags and roll up all the extra weaponry.
Yep. So you're going to try to haul away as much as you can, and you've got some serious bugbear sort of ability to make that happen.
Yeah, basically a giant pile of loot on his back. He's just haul it all.
Awesome. Okay, so you bundle it up the best that you can using cloaks and other things from the surrounding area, and you manage to get quite a bit of stuff packed in there.
And Brokos, you can change into a pony again. We'll load you up.
It was a draft horse. Not a pony.
Okay. So you've got your loot, and we'll figure out what exactly is in there offline here. But
well, I wrote down a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I did give you a list, but I'm assuming if you had room, you would probably try to take if any of the goblets or anything on the table were gold or silver, you might grab that.
The shiny stuff.
Yeah,
We're kind of in an area that you could probably palm this pretty quick, yeah.
Or barter.
Yeah,
get
possibly.
jumped.
Yeah, or get jumped. That's always a possibility. Anything else that you guys are doing in the Night Rover Guild House?
I mean, we've checked the bodies.
I mean, I would like to just
Check
walk
the
around the
supplies.
guild house personally. This used to be my haunt, so
Yeah. So, there are stairs that go up to the roof of this building, where the big slate, the board, where the top people, the top suspects were listed every week. And there's a little bit of a garden and stuff up there, and view of the city if you needed to see that, or the square, not the whole city, but the surrounding square. And there's a back room that used to be for archives and things, and it looks like they'd sort of made that over into kind of a private sleeping quarters, maybe for Auden Wayne. And that's why all the books and scrolls have been tossed out here onto the floor. Maybe they were just clearing it out. Maybe they were looking for something. It's hard to tell.
I would be interested to see if I could find any of the information on the previous jobs. Like, imagine everything was logged somewhere, probably in some private books.
Yeah. Yep. So what, any specific information or just general?
Well, just thinking about it, I don't know how important it is now, but whoever put the job out on Triss. Anything left over on that?
Yeah. I will tell me how much time you want to devote to searching here.
Well,
or maybe it's a group decision.
Well,
I'm fine with doing some research.
So we haven't really talked about it, and I guess that would be, no better time than now. So, before everything collapsed, there was a job put out to capture Triss for, I don't know for what, for something she did or saw. And I knew that she was in grave danger, which is why I sought her out. I don't know if that agent is even a threat anymore, but I would like to know who it was.
Was it to capture me or to kill me?
I think it was dead or alive.
Yeah.
I'd like to know too.
Right.
You want to know what's pissing people off?
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, what did I do?
Well, this is an interesting wrinkle that I didn't anticipate, but I love it. I love it. So why don't you roll maybe your investigation? And let's say if you want to spend more than, say, an hour or up to an hour, let me know what kind of time you're thinking of devoting.
If we don't find something within an hour, we could probably assume it's destroyed. But between the four of us searching.
Is there a certain place that there would be held? These documents would be held, right? You think this would be like a book or like a?
It's literally the stuff that's on the floor on your map. So the archives were in this back room, kind of to the north on your map, and there's a small chamber that was basically just to keep records and things, and now has been converted, so it looks like they tossed out all the books.
Can we ask for Pierce's help as well?
Yeah, if you wanted to. I would let you if you are all going to be searching,
Sure.
you know, and you're going to put in a, you know, we'll say an hour. I'd let Don roll with advantage on that.
Okay, that's some pressure.
You've got advantage, man. You're good.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay.
Hey, coming from somebody who's rolled 2 1s, you know. Come on,
You got warm dice?
gotta warm the dice up. So I rolled a 15. I've got a 2, so that'd be 17 on investigation or insight or perception. It's all
Okay. So yeah, you managed to stumble across a brief notation in one of the log books, and it looks like approximately 3 months ago, someone named Colonel Admir Visser showed up and requested that Triss be found and detained, and then he would be notified. This Admir Visser.
Does anybody recognize the name?
Triss would recognize the name. Wasn't her immediate superior in the Legion, but her superior reported to this person. So, noodle on that for a little bit. So basically, your the officer in your reporting chain there, where you reported to a lieutenant, and this lieutenant reported directly to this Colonel Visser. And they're the one that, for some reason, after you were discharged from the Legion, were looking for you.
Dead or alive, though?
Basically, it just says detained, and you know, I guess Krager would probably know, since there was no specific notation, that you know, it could be dead or alive.
And we weren't an assassin's guild, but
Yeah, things happened.
yeah.
And you were discharged lawfully? I mean, you left on good terms?
As far as I know.
Yeah, there's some strangeness with her memory about that, but she did feel like she was discharged, but there was some confusing time after she made it back to the city where she didn't know why she was back, why she left the Legion. You know, it all seemed very strange to her. But
do you know someone that you would trust, Triss, that would know anything about this?
I don't know, do I?
I would say probably not. You know, I think you probably had some reliable compatriots in the Legion, but probably not anyone that you would confide in about, you know, leaving the Legion or something. You're pretty much by the book, business sort of attitude while you're in the Legion. So I'm not sure if you would have really confided with anyone. You're reliable and completely, you know, trustworthy soldier, and that's what you did. You did your job.
So, Kragar, would this hit still be out? Would this be basically an active bounty?
Well, there's no guild left. So,
but would this be another bounty in another guild, perhaps? That would be. I mean, would she still be sought out?
I have no way of knowing that. it would not be. It would be improper to pit guild against each other, but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen. And it also is a question as whether the people who put this out are even worried about it anymore.
Mm,
But it's best that we know.
right.
Yeah.
Would this get to an assassin guild? Like, do they give this bounty out to multiple guilds? Or is it just guild per guild?
Again, I wouldn't be able to know. I would say that would be unwelcome to pit the guilds against each other. But
Yeah.
I imagine if this was of supreme importance, it's possible.
Hmm.
So we ambush. We put Triss on the middle of the square here and say, and we just ambush them.
Lure him in.
Yep.
I mean, but there'd be no point if your guild's not going to be paying anything out because it doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Right.
Yeah, I think something you said before is probably seems the most logical from your viewpoint. That if she, with all the chaos that happened, there's a good chance that they may not even care, since the guild has either fled the city or is no longer in existence. You don't know what happened to this Colonel Visser. But I think some assumptions could probably be made about the fact that if you were stuck in the city and you were a former soldier, there's a pretty good chance that you are dead or no longer a threat.
But we should keep an eye out for this Colonel Visser.
Yes.
Yes, would I recognize Colonel Visser on site?
Yes, you would.
Okay.
Is there a place? Is there basically I guess a military hold that would be like hold him or your as far as the people above you?
They would probably be in the Dread Gate.
Not saying going after them, but just knowing where
But
to
if
look.
you have a nemesis, we should be careful.
Yeah.
If I have a nemesis, I don't even know who this nemesis is.
Well, we have a name.
Yeah.
If he gets on our path, we'll take care of it.
All right.
I'd like to know why first.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
makes your story much more exciting and mysterious.
That's the main reason. When you said that you were, would you recognize him, Triss? As you think about him and are kind of pondering why Colonel Visser would be out to kill you or harm you or detain you in some way, you suddenly get like almost like a panic attack. Your chest sort of gets tight, and you realize you're breathing really quickly and shallowly, and you're just all of a sudden like kind of in fight or flight mode, and you don't know why, just thinking about him.
Triss, are you okay?
I do not know.
It's okay. I have this effect on women a lot.
I think it is something else.
Yeah.
Not you,
She's-
Alar.
I think she's panicking. So
Alar,
Alar would be right, and that's how.
I cause panic. Alar, you are not my type.
Mm.
Just get
Oh,
that out of
Triss.
the way.
So what's our next move?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, we're obviously not going to be arranging the meeting with these people.
Mhm.
I think while we are in Old Town, it would be advisable to seek out this half-orc woman.
But I thought that the half orc was in Black Alley.
Ah,
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
then to Black Alley we go.
Well, I've been wanting to go there from the beginning.
But let us go there.
A house. You might want to report in first, but that's just a crazy DM thought. But
That's the DM trying to get us back.
Mhm.
Oh, is that what you have scripted, Jerry?
that is what I have scripted. Yes, but you don't have to follow it. We can just wing it.
So do you want to carry all of this gold, or all this stuff around, or do you want to? Is there value here that you would want to get out of it? Are we in a area that we can get this fenced, or do you want to bring this back? You don't want to give it to.
I don't want
away,
to.
right?
I don't want to just give it.
Hand it over to Wolf
Right.
Canute?
I mean,
No.
No,
so
Right.
far, I don't feel like we've gotten much out of the deal.
no, we haven't at all.
No. Not even any promotion for any shows.
Well, you
Basic
do
equipment
have-
and basic food. That's what we've gotten.
Yeah,
And a
Uh,
lot of fetch quests.
a lot of fetch quests. So you do know that the Were Rats, the Dark Run Syndicate, seem to be mixed up in all of this, and the only way to really do them any harm is probably with some of the surplus weapons that you have. And it is a little bit strange that Auden Wayne's whole crew was outfitted with silvered weapons, like he knew something.
That is very true. And Kragar has been bitten.
Oh yeah, we totally forgot about that.
Oh,
I
this?
forgot too.
This.
It'll be fine.
I'm fine. I'm
Ah,
fine.
Or not.
Can I do a medicine check on him to see if it would be infected at all?
Yeah.
With my knowledge
Good.
of awareness,
My knowledge of
awareness,
awareness.
knowledge. Right.
Sure. I'll
Well,
let you do-
I come from the people of where.
I'll let you roll for that.
That's a natty 20, so 25.
Wow. So you look and you immediately see how it's sort of flushed. The flesh, as you dig through his fur, is kind of discolored
Uh-oh.
around the wound. And you are like, oh, this is really going to happen. We've got until 8 days from now, I think is what I came up with.
And then
Um,
he's a
Full
he's a
moon.
bug rat.
Yep.
You are infected. We have until the next full moon
Correct.
until you will turn into something that you may or may not want to be.
Well, what can we do about it?
We would have to have someone who would have to remove a curse,
Yep.
perhaps a cleric.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. I only pointed out I do have lesser restoration, but I don't think that's going to help.
There's
I
the
think a
temple.
druid would be helpful in this.
There's the temple district, right? Maybe we
Mhm.
should go there.
Someone has to have the skill to remove.
Dad, we can't hear you. You just turned off your mic.
Someone has to have the skill to remove this curse, and I am not that person, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we've got a little time.
It needs very little time.
Plenty of time. Let's sleep on it.
It's okay, Kragar. We all have silver weapons now.
We can cure it one way or another.
We'll be fine.
Is there a safe word that you want us to use to kill you?
8 days.
Yes, we'll have to go find someone, possibly, like Chris said, in the temple district.
Yeah. Or, maybe Wolf Canute or Haydn know somebody.
That's true.
Fine, we go back and ask Wolf Canute. I am
Yeah,
afraid
settle,
that
Jerry.
he might like kill Kragar on sight if that is the case, and then we've got a big fight, and it just gets ugly.
Or we could all get infected and join Kragar.
And the Were Rats
We could join the Were Rats, I suppose.
take down the syndicate from the inside. Yeah,
We could
no.
also go hunting them too.
Yep. You have lots of options here. So kind of curious to see how that all plays out. So
So do we go to Black Alley or we go to Wolf Canute first?
you let me know.
We're closer to Black Alley.
Yes.
But that is a different group there. So you'd have to cross the lines somehow, and you don't really know
They don't have-
much
They don't have
about.
access.
Yeah.
They don't have access to the underground.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know how or where to access it.
Mm.
So
Well, I
it's
mean,
kind
when
of
you
a
say that
mystery.
though, I mean, it's not like there's physical walls.
But
There
there
are
might be.
barricades and stuff in the streets, and most of the roads are watched.
You see
But I'm sure we
barricades.
could talk our way in.
Right. You see barricades. I see obstacles.
I see ramps.
So
I'm
the
really
old,
big into parkour.
Yeah, I
sorry,
was
so
gonna
the old
say.
town was being. So I wrote down all these original notes. So the triads or the triumvirate were in charge of Old Town.
Correct.
So and Oddman was one of those people, right? Is that
Auden Wayne
Oddman? Oddman Wayne.
and Tragan and Veer were the other two that you've heard of. Tragan Greenmarch and Veer Staghorn. Other leaders of this triumvirate that runs Old Town. So Old Town is kind of the heart of the city. Most of the commerce happens here. A lot of people reside in the area. Smaller tenements and things like that. So it's kind of the hub. So it's important.
Now remind me, was Auden the only one of the triumvirate that was willing to negotiate? The other two were not part of the.
Yeah, that is the impression that you
Okay.
got from Haydn, that he was friends from before with Auden, and he was trying to negotiate. They were trying to win over Auden, which they think they achieved, and then Auden was going to work on Veer and Tragan to get them on board to kind of uniting in some fashion, either under Wolfcanute or in alliance with Wolfcanute. So it seems like somebody's working against that.
Well, and obviously it's the rats.
Yep. Definitely seems like the rats are involved.
So should we talk to the other two and let them know that their friend Auden Wayne has been slain by the Dark Run Syndicate?
Do we know
might be
where to
able
find
to-
them?
We would have to ask.
Yeah. With the note that you found to implicate Wolfcanute.
Well, we're not going to share that note.
No, but I think it would be reasonable to assume that other forces are working against you and actively trying to turn these two. So trying to suddenly show up in Old Town saying, hey, we're being framed, it might not be.
No, not that we're being framed, but that their friend was slain by the Dark Run Syndicate. We have proof of that. We
Do we?
have their poison. Yeah, don't we?
Yeah, you
We
have a
have their
vial
were
of
rats
poison
right here.
who
Like
now look human.
And the poison that they, were using, and we have bodies that were poisoned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The risk is that we would have to say that we're agents coming from Wolfcanute.
Correct. I mean, you wouldn't have to. You could be just
I
like, we're
guess.
just average schmoes that stumbled across this huge murder scene.
Hey, just thought you want to know.
Well, but Kregar has a good reason to be there.
Naturally.
That's his, we're his friends. We went to see his place. He was just showing us around.
Yeah,
This is what we
like the whole
found.
times.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's there's a slight, I don't know, you haven't experienced it firsthand, maybe it hasn't, come across too clearly in previous parts of your adventure, but the fact that you were all free people prior to the uprising, I mean, you're not really in the in the good crowd, right? You're sort of outsiders. and then that one of you was a night rover, and another one of you is a retired legionnaire. You know,
Jerry, I'm a man of the people. Everyone loves
Okay.
me.
Right. You would probably be fine as a, entertainer, a poor, up and coming bard, and some 16-year-old, you know,
Dog. Dog.
Dog boy.
I mean, wait.
You
I
For
might-
all
thought
you,
we're,
they know I'm a pet dog.
we're all part of a band here. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
Right? They
Right.
dance.
Right. We're in a band
Yes.
together.
Triss's dance moves. But
Do you still have that demo on you, Alar?
Demo.
So I think you should be worried about that a little bit, at least from Kragar and Triss's point of view.
So we got to kind of rock this suspiciously and be a little paranoid, but we have to be somewhat progressive about this. We have to move forward in the story. Right?
I mean,
So-
I guess my challenge is I still, I'm not sympathetic to Wolf Canute and
Yeah.
his people. I still,
He's done nothing to make us sympathetic either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I still don't feel like we fit.
I'm going to say
anywhere.
it. I don't like being bossed around.
Yeah. No, that's good.
So what is our purpose in this whole thing? Or we don't want to be just vessels for Wolf Canute. Is there something that we want to do?
See,
Make
episode 14, and we're
change.
still in this existential crisis.
Yeah.
I know.
We want to make, or do we
Like-
want to change it ourselves? And
Made
Why
Wolf
are we
Canute feel
here?
I
unlikable.
don't have anything I don't have anything against, putting two parties and working against them, but we just have to be smart about it. Is that what you're saying?
So here's how I'll just lay it out there for you guys. Here are the questions you need to ask yourselves as characters. Do you feel like you owe the citizens, who are elderly, children, women, former slaves, had rough lives, do you owe them anything from your character's point of view? Do you feel any empathy for them at this point? That would be the first question. Second question is, do you believe that Wolf Canute has maybe not the greatest intention, but pretty good plan in place to hopefully protect the citizens of the city and preserve them from being killed or returning to slavery? So that is kind of dependent on question number one.
Point one. Yes, we owe them me.
Okay.
They deserve this.
Yeah.
Question two. We don't know his plans. He doesn't talk to us. He tells us to go do things.
Well, you did have a whole argument. There was a whole episode where it was
Yeah,
basically you
but-
yelling at him, and then he sort of, gave you more insight into his plans with the lighthouse, and, he just wants to protect the people of the city. And you guys sort of intuited that beyond that, he wants revenge because he feels the Baron betrayed him and his people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say I am not from this city. I came to this city for help. So I am an outsider geographically as well. And so I would probably feel the least likely of no offense, but not caring about this city. Obviously, just in my heart, I would want people, those in need and those who are the innocents, not to be treated
Mm-hmm.
like this. So that's just naturally. But there's a means to an end for me to get help, to help my people as well, and my selfishness. So
Mhm.
I'm probably a little torn, and I'm not the most mature. So I would say that I'm kind of going along because I see this as a means to an end of working with this group, because I have now an alliance, or I have an ally, where before I didn't know anybody. So I feel like I'm fit somehow. And if this is the way they want to do it right now, I'm okay with helping, just as long as they're willing to help me in the end.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing to think about is in this new landscape that you're in, if you are going it alone or with a small group of 4 people, your chances are pretty slim that you're going to survive for very long. You probably need to ally yourselves with one of these factions at some point. You can try to not do that, but you definitely won't have the resources and the steady food supply. And
Well, I don't think we're talking about going completely out on our own.
no, and and I'm just trying to, I guess, give you a little more insight into what might motivate you, and then in turn give me a little more insight into, like, if the whole compassion for the citizens of this city is not working for your characters, then I need to find
Burn it all
ways
down.
just let it
So
go.
yeah, and so as a character that grew up here, I would say that Krager is compassionate for the people. But he sees, I mean, that's, I guess, and maybe we're not supposed to, but I see the Thurangari as, they're the outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I grew up in Bleakstone, which is now occupied by them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I see them as kind of like these, maybe they see them kind of as invaders.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, sure, they've given us a place to stay and some food and stuff, but I'm still just not convinced he's in it for anything other than protecting his own people.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see how to help the city. It's because it's got all these different factions.
Yeah.
And I guess.
And we've only seen the one side. We've only really seen his plan for the city.
Yep.
So that's where I'm like, where can we fit in? And like, so there's other 2 people of the triad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, we don't know anything about them. Are they better or worse and different?
Right.
So we have all these different names of the faction leaders, but if we just keep working for the one, we're going to get basically dragged to the point where we're stuck as an ally with him.
Right. Exactly.
And I didn't feel like we had a choice other than that was where we got captured.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like we owed them that because of our freedom. Right?
Yeah.
Wolf Canute as an individual seems he's fine, but some of the people, specifically Skullivag, I want to stick a knife in her eye.
Right.
Why would you pick that to be your right hand?
And then he doesn't seem to be people seem to like him, but he doesn't seem to really have it fully all together. And that's where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I purposefully tried to make it like hard choices here. Wolf Canute is not supposed to be likable, but really nobody in this town. You can pretty much assume if they run one of these factions, they're not really good people.
Right. They all have their own motivations for something, right?
Yeah, and he I guess from the DM point of view, Wolf Canute represents a recently subdued people who still have some fight left in them, and the other peoples of the city probably have been either born into it or been enslaved for such a long period of time that maybe they're not quite ready or up to speed with the whole resistance against the Baron and his forces when and if that actually happens, whereas Wolf Canute definitely does. He is prepared. His people are ready. They are fighters. They are born to this. And so does that represent a pretty good? Yeah. The gladiators are probably the other option as far as who can lead us in a resistance against the Baron.
So, and you're from the city too, Triss, right?
Yes.
This is your home. And so are you as well, Alar? This is you're born and raised here?
No,
Okay.
I was not. So I'm not from the city.
Well,
but the people are my muse.
right,
Their
right.
story will create a great epic of
So do you feel like
fighting
you're here?
against tyranny
Okay, so you are here to inspire them through your music. That's how you feel.
and to be inspired in turn by their struggle.
So percentage ego wise,
You know the answer to that question.
95.
You know. You know.
Well, I'm okay with this, but I'm totally what Craigar is saying is the Skelligar or whatever her name.
Skullive.
Skullive, she
Skullive.
needs to be interrogated, or she needs somehow. I'm serious. Like, there's something like, why would you put someone like that in that position? She obviously has problems with a lot of people, and I know we talked to them a little bit about it, but there's just something that's fishy there. There's just
You guys have never asked any real direct questions about
Right.
Skolaveg.
right.
Yeah.
So just to find out a little bit more what the intentions are, maybe just get that cleared up, because I'm okay with following Canute, and he seems to so far of given us these legitimate quests. None of them has been putting us into to danger where he was setting us up, right? So
Mhm.
No.
so I mean, we can trust him a little bit, but I will take the lead of the people who live in the city to how they really. I'm okay with. I'll take your guys' lead on what you think is best.
I liked Freya.
Yeah. Freya was pretty good. I think
So-
what's her name? I can't remember at the tower building. She was pretty no nonsense, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to
Hilda.
direct you down
Sure.
a path, but for the purpose of moving the story forward, as you guys are debating this, sort of like, should we go to Tragan and Veer
Mhm.
and see what they're all about? Piers is going to be like, I would not recommend that. They're taking people like you and killing them, torturing them.
That solves that.
I wouldn't do that.
Well, I am well known in my stance against being killed.
And there's going to be torture. I want to be the one doing it.
No. Oh, so dark.
Hey,
Let us return.
Craigar gonna Craigar.
report.
Craigar, got a Craigar.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Tris?
I said, let us return and report. And yeah, that is.
Bend the knee.
I will
And we
not.
can surreptitiously
bend the knee.
ask about how to deal with a case of lycanthropy. I'm not saying that anyone's infected, but if they were,
If they
Asking
were.
for a friend.
that guy right there.
So we need to go find a cleric.
Hypothetically, if one wants to be bit. Well, where is the on the map? Where is the holy city? It would be down here,
The
right?
temple quarter, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, kind of the opposite of Horncliffe, where your vineyard is at.
So let us return to Wolf Canute, report, see if there's help there. And if not, then I say we next go to the Temple District.
Okay.
One way or the other.
Where
Alright.
do you want to stash this stuff, Craigar, or do you want to bring it with us? I mean, it's basically a bag full of like goods, right? I mean,
We'll take it
like
with us.
goblets and
We need a base is what we need. We need some place that we can call our own.
Yeah, like your own private stash. I hear ya.
Well, there's that one place that we took the glass from.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Except that's drafty now.
it's raining in
It's
there.
raining inside. Yeah.
I mean, this is a city. There's structures everywhere. We could find something.
Yeah, Bleakstone in particular has some, although it's been bombarded pretty heavily, has a lot of vacant structures. So, and you guys should think about people that you, who can you trust and who deserves to be brought into your inner circle. That is a good way to think of it.
I vote Freya.
And Piers.
I don't know
Who can
about
play
Piers.
lead guitar? That should be your first question, Naylor.
Not Skolaveg is what I'm gonna guess. But, okay, so you guys are
She's going to be the Yoko Ono. I'm going to start dating her.
you guys are heading out back for the sewers to get back to Old Town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being especially wary of ambush by rat people.
And things
That's a
falling
good call.
And
in the
ooze
ceiling.
and yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So you guys start to depart. Piers, wishes you the best, and
Oh, where's he gonna go?
he's still doing his research. He's going to hang out for a while, but he says that if he finds this orc woman, he will try to get word to this Wolfcanute person, and back to you.
You're not safe alone.
You should come with us. There's safety in numbers.
Yes, I really need to find out if they discovered anything about my family. It was so long ago. I don't even know if I had a mother or father, if they were still alive. Maybe they're even still alive now. I just don't know. It's too long ago, and my sister is my only connection now. I know for a fact that she exists and is hopefully still living in town, but I'll get out of here as soon as I can. Please don't worry about me. I'm a sinless. I can take care of myself.
I wasn't going to worry about you. I was just letting you know.
Okay.
Don't make assumptions here, Piers. Don't build this into something that it's not. Okay. I love that. So you guys
Don't listen to Kragar. He's been bitten. You are always welcome. Come and find us.
He's half were-rat, for gosh sakes. So you guys are heading
Lycanthropy
out?
makes you cranky.
It does. So as you reach the stairs, you suddenly clearly hear the sound of many booted feet approaching from the main entrance. Dozens of people headed your way, and you quickly get the impression that they don't sound happy.
Unhappy feet.
Unhappy feet. Is that a sequel?
Can we leave out the side door and get out
That's
of
the
here
name of this
quickly?
episode.
This is not the way we originally came in, though, right?
No, you guys can return down. It sounds like they're coming up the main entrance, so you can.
We will return down the way we came.
Yes.
Work down the stairs. Yeah.
Pierce, you better skedaddle.
Yeah. So I'm sure he will hear them too, and they're probably ways out of the back there too, the archive room, and so he should be fine if he hears them.
And we have that. Any evidence that made it look like it was trying to be framed, framing the Wolfcanute, we make sure we destroyed that or took it.
Took it.
Yeah, you have you have these crates that are marked with Peck and Wimby, and you have the note, or you don't have the crates, but you can, those are there, and the note really is the one thing that you grabbed that tied Wolfcanute to it.
Yeah.
So as you make your way down the stairs through the baths below, exit out the side door, you eventually enter Old Market Square, where you notice that a few of the people that are still nearby around the entrance to the Night Rover Guildhouse, they seem a little more pensive, tense perhaps. They give your party a quick glance or two and then pointedly find something else to look at. Yeah. So still trucking along, going back to the side street where you entered the square?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
do our best to look inconspicuous, which is probably impossible.
Probably.
Get off the street as quickly as we can.
Okay, so you managed to sort of skirt your way around and try to do it as quickly and surreptitiously as possible. And you're nearly arrived at this side street where you entered the square when you hear a loud commotion behind you towards the Night Rover Guildhouse. And you see armored men and women pouring out onto the front steps of the grand structure, their weapons drawn, shouts ringing out, and you clearly hear the word they are repeating, assassins! And then all hell breaks loose in the square. People start scattering, running in different directions, looking around at each other. And now what are you going to do?
Are they looking at us?
No, they're looking around. They're obviously
I think
on high alert.
We're gonna use the cover of everyone running to run ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say we run.
Move
Okay.
it.
So you move quickly down the side street after the square was suddenly transformed into this beehive of activity. And you hear the shouts ringing out some distance behind you. But it seems like some of them, at least, are heading in your direction. So maybe groups are splitting off, looking for the assassins. And you arrive at the steps that sort of lead down into those, in between those two buildings, those crumbling buildings. So you stumble through the makeshift barrier at the top of the short flight of steps, passing between the two decrepit structures. You come to the empty courtyard with this dry fountain, and the grate sits where you left it.
Sounds a lot in.
Going in?
Yeah.
The last of you clambers down the slippery handholds and quietly pulls the grate back into place. Just as the rusted metal hits home, you hear hushed voices and booted feet approaching the courtyard above. As you take one last glance before dropping the rest of the way down into the sewer, you notice a heavily muscled man quietly enter the open space above. His powerful physique and lethal grace would have caught anyone's attention, but the thing you really noticed was his right arm. Instead of sinewy flesh and thick fingers, it appeared to end with the glinting metal of 3 wicked-looking blades.
So he pulled the grate and has come down.
No,
behind.
he's
No,
just,
he just entered the square.
yeah, in the little
Come into the
courtyard.
square. Okay.
We're just kind of peeking up and seeing this, right?
Yeah, as you drop down, that's kind of the last thing. Whoever came last, that was the last thing you saw.
I mean, do we want to listen in? Or Craigar, do you want to listen? I mean, do you want to just hang tight and listen in, or do we want to skedaddle?
Yeah, someone wants to roll perception, or all of you, you can certainly do that.
Well, so I guess I was thinking I would kind of wait at the back as everybody kept running, just in case somebody did come down. I could gank them.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
it sort of was assuming you were the last one in.
So sure, I will pause for a moment, in the shadows to see if I can hear anything.
Okay, roll your perception.
I don't know. I got some dust in my eye, and the dice giveth, and the dice
Craigar,
They
Craigar,
take the way.
Oh,
Watch out for the bricks.
Get down here.
You so without hearing anything else, you just hear some voices, and they sound like they're coming closer. And then you hear the kind of clang of the metal grate being shifted
Uh-oh.
in place, and then all you hear is a voice, a deep, terrifying voice say, "No, let them go. This will work just as well." And then you hear the booted feet walk away.
I'll definitely slip away into the shadows at that point.
Mhm.
Okay. So you find you go through no problems. You're kind of marching your way back up the sewer. And you get back to the exit to Hacklow's shop, and you see that it's still open. But as you start to climb the steep steps, you think you see light up ahead.
Did we leave the door open?
If we leave the light on. Yeah. So what do you want to do about that?
We will
what-
draw our blades.
What type of light? Like torch light or?
Yeah, it seems to be a sort of a flickering, warm kind of glow, maybe from a fire or a torch.
I'm going to turn into a rat and check it out.
Nice. Craigar will be able to do that soon.
Hmm.
No, like a real rat.
So you're turning
yeah, I'm
into a rat?
I'm just going to turn into a rat, and because that's where rats live, it wouldn't be unusual for a rat to be down here.
Okay.
So
But
and then
the
go
light
up
is coming from up the stairs from the Chandler.
Yeah, from the Chandler shop.
and
Okay.
and following that. So
Okay, so you turn into a rat and clamber up the stairs, and you manage to quietly peek through the opening, careful to use the furnace to shelter your movements. You see the flickering light is coming from the front room to the shop. And as you peer around the corner, you see a figure with its back toward you, hunched over a small fire.
okay. I'm going to. So how far away is that from me? In the front room, you said, and I'm in the back room.
Yep, you're probably about 10 feet away from this figure.
Can I scurry around the wall, the corners, to get a view from him from the front?
Sure. Do you want to roll me a stealth or
Sure.
anything?
I can do that.
Awesome.
That's 16.
Nice. So you scurry around the edge, I think there was a counter there, and some, detritus sort of sitting around in the area. So you are using that very smartly to block your view, going very quietly. But as you approach, you suddenly hear a recognizable voice say, "You made it! Well, come on! Tell me what you've learned." And the figure then turns and you see Haydn's smiling, one-eyed face. "Come now, sit, get warm. Where's the rest of you? Whew, you smell terrible. I thought that rotten corpse in there had permanently destroyed my sense of smell." And you see that Haydn has prepared a small meal. And
How kind.
in your rat form, it smells delightful.
Well, I can't speak, so I'm going to scurry back.
Okay.
And then I'll go back into my form.
Okay.
Broco's form, and I will tell them it is fine. It is just
Haydn.
Haydn. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
He has food prepared for us. It smells delicious.
It smells delightful. So,
Haydn, so good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. Come now. I've got a meal prepared. I assumed you'd be back shortly. Please, have a seat. Tell me everything you've learned. How is my friend Auden doing?
Oh, it is a tragic story. He has been poisoned by the were-rats of the Darkrun Syndicate.
Oh no.
Our plans lie in shambles.
Do you, how do you know it was the Syndicate?
We killed quite a few of them in the process.
Really? Auden was a good man. But it has to be the Syndicate, I suppose. Tragan and Veer, they don't have what it takes to pull this off.
Worse than that, my friend. They were trying to pin it on Wolfknut.
Like, pin it on Wolfknut, yes. They're trying to get between us. I don't know what the Syndicate would have to gain from all of this. It seems very strange. I mean, the Baron or the Gladiators, that would make more sense. And that poison, so very uncommon. Even the crazed cultists of Malvorn would have trouble getting their hands on that. Anything else you want to share with them?
Hypothetically, where can we find? Is there a good cleric that you could recommend?
If we're going to be battling the Darkrun Syndicate some more, we are at risk of being infected.
Yes.
What would we do in such a dire circumstance?
I've heard rumors that there are still a few clerics helping the good people of Vadragan, stationed somewhere in the High Cobbled district. I think that would probably be your best bet.
And how would we secure passage to that district?
I would have to do some research on that. I'm not sure who's in control of that area. Probably Tragan and Vier, I would guess, but there must be a way to get across unseen. I tell you what, I will look into that for you, just in the off chance that you need it, of course.
Yes, of course. Just because we're talking about it, how long would that take?
Could this get maybe done?
Expedited.
Fast track.
For days, perhaps.
Tonight-ish.
Allow time for travel there.
So he's looking at you, and he's kind of got this little twinkle in his remaining eye and smile on his face, and he's like obviously taking his time to respond. And
My friends, you are not as subtle as I am.
So hypothetical, Alar.
Yeah, and it's like, I tell you what, part of my penance to get back into Wolf Canute's good graces has been to take a census of the city. I've been up most nights counting fires, trying to get a better sense of how many people we could possibly rely on should the Baron decide to try to take back the city. So I'll do some digging, and I will try to, let's say, tomorrow after my watch tonight, I'll poke around and see if I can find out how someone might be able to get into High Cobble. But I wondered if you'd be willing to do me a favor. We're going to need to know how to combat these accusations, at least to keep Tragan and Vier unbalanced for a while. I know the Peck and Wimby warehouse is nearby, and that's probably, in the absence of this note, probably the only thing that really points to us, because their warehouse is in our territory. Maybe you could go there, check it out, do some poking around, and maybe you'll turn up who was involved, who gave them the supplies. And if we have someone, a witness or something, maybe that would help us make our case, and at least give Tragan and Vier pause before they make some alliance with someone else or do something even worse.
It all depends. How good is the meal, Jerry?
Yeah.
It's pretty reasonably good for setting it up, creating a fire. He's brought some bread and some dried meat.
Fire in the building.
In the building, yes. He's got a little
It's a little smoky in here.
it is a little smoky, but some of the windows are broken panes and things, so you're good.
I'm
I would
pretty
like-
sure that it was Skullivig, so we should just kill her now.
We're 100% sure it was Skolovik.
Could we take a short rest here and eat?
Mm-hmm.
Certainly could. It does look like it's getting close to late afternoon now, and so you are pretty hungry. And he's asking more. Anything else? Did you learn anything else?
As we left the scene, I did bear witness to something curious. The soldiers that were chasing us gave pause, and I caught a glimpse of a tall, stern-faced man with a strange appendage on his arm, filled with blades. He said to let us go, and it might serve them better, or something like that.
Now this is starting to come together. That sounds like Thraxos Tigerclaw. He's a Gulgonin, an arena champion. Definitely in the leadership of the gladiators, if not their only leader right now. He is vicious and brutal, but subtlety isn't really his strength. But working together with the Syndicate, perhaps. I still don't know why those two groups would come together. Strange. But the gladiators, definitely, that adds another piece to the puzzle.
So wait, you're saying that the gladiators are working with the Darkrun Syndicate?
Yes, odd, isn't it? I don't know what the connection would be. Gladiators, being former slaves, I would think, besides, being good at what they do, they would be on our side. but maybe they have a different philosophy when it comes to preserving the city, or maybe they don't care at all. I don't know what's going through their minds right now. They've refused all entreaties to talk with us and with Wolf Canute. So we really have no information, but Thraxos, there are a handful of actual Gulgonans in the city. They are, very talented at what they do, which is fight. And he's been a champion for quite some time. It would make sense that he would rise and take control of them.
What about the guy that lost his legs because those other dudes ate him? He's a former gladiator. Why can't we get him to talk to the gladiators for us?
He actually wasn't a gladiator. He was just like a slave. So in that particular arena, the labyrinth, they would allow any slave to try to best it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I thought he was a gladiator.
I
All
do
right.
too.
Yeah. So he was just an average
Just random slave guy.
random slave guy, randomly made it through this labyrinth with all these
That is disappointing.
yeah. But who knows? He might have information worth talking to.
Well,
Anything
perhaps
else?
we should. Perhaps we should.
Hyden, we would be happy to investigate the warehouse.
Ah, good. I think if we can just throw them off balance, like I said, we'll buy ourselves some time. I think that's the best that we can hope for right now. Obviously, if the gladiators are involved, they're going to try to win over Tragan and Vier, but I just don't
And I
know.
think we should be concerned that there is a mole somewhere here.
A mole?
If they have access to the Peck and Wimby warehouse,
Ah,
clearly
yes.
it has been infiltrated.
Yes, that is a good point. That's if we can find out how they obtain those supplies from Peck and Wimby, maybe we'll be able to track that back to this mole. Anything else?
Well, we have some silvered weapons that we can share.
Yes, I suppose you realize that I applied a tincture of silver to your weapons earlier.
Yes, that was very convenient. Thank you.
Yes, it was very convenient. Well, I've been doing it for everybody that gets sent out, and I figured you might eventually run across the syndicate somewhere. I've had dealings with them before, and I knew their true nature. I had some warning, at least, and I hope you don't mind if I did that.
It's very invasive, but appreciated.
So, did you want to ask him about this orc woman that you're looking for? You're going to keep that for yourselves. And you also have information about that Piers relayed that he thinks one of these armies is going to come and take Badrigan eventually.
Oh, that is true.
Yes, all these things.
So many things.
All these things, yeah, it's all kind of opened up a huge can of worms for you. So if you share any information about the orc woman, he's like, yes, Lumella Split Tongue. She's really only a half orc, but she had this whole act where she claimed to be the daughter of an orcish chieftain. She did this strange war dance with a pet snake. It drove people wild, very popular with the soldiers in the Dreadgate. Ah, yes. Anyway, I think she was based out of Black Alley. I'm sure one of the gentlemen's clubs, I think they called them, that catered to the soldiers and the officers, somewhere in there.
Maybe she can give me some lessons.
You've already got it down, Triss. If anything, she has a few moves she could learn from you, from what I've seen. So
That's right.
No
And if you-
accounting for Thurngari tastes.
And if you tell him about Piers's info, he finds that very concerning, and again reminds you that working together, we have a chance to hold the Baron off, even if he's reinforced by local lords. But there's really no way we'd stand against the legions under one of the Durham siblings. He's like, either way, one thing at a time. We can worry about that later. Right now, I got to get back and count my fires. None of this seems to matter with the news from your sinless friend, but I'll do what I can. I'll get some information for you. You try to find out what you can, and we'll take this one step at a time. If Old Town unites with the gladiators and someone is pulling their strings, we'll be done before the Legion can even arrive. So he wishes you adieu and leaves you with the food and hobbles off out into the street.
And if that happens, my friends, we need to be ready to switch sides.
We need to switch gears in a hurry. Well, I'm going to say
Go
that's...
gladiators.
we were always behind you, Thraxos. The hand thing, that's so cool. So cool. Where can I get one of those? Yeah. So you guys learned a ton of info. And I hope someone's taking good notes.
Yeah, got some, hopefully.
Otherwise, we're recording this. You can always listen to it, I suppose. But
What?
I don't listen to this podcast, Gary.
No, I've got other podcasts to listen to.
there's
Thanks.
so many good ones out there. I mean, why? Why? But I think we're going to call it an episode there, and look forward to your next adventure, heading to the Peck and Wimby warehouse district.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I think something that Triss would know, yeah?
Yes.
Since she did work for them, she might have some insight there.
Okay.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Well, good job.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
job uncovering all this stuff, and good working through this existential crisis.
Yes.
Every little step that preserves my sanity is good as far as I'm concerned. So thank you for
Again, it's
working.
all about you, Jerry. We want to keep your sanity going.
Yeah. Well, it might be gone already, but thank you all, and we will see you next time.
Next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.